Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. And today we'll be discussing the theory related to the chapter Reproductive Health. This is the part 2 of the lecture. Before starting this lecture, I just want to give you one information. The images, text, and other materials used in the presentations are for education purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners. If you are the owner and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@itk.ac.in and we shall remove the content immediately. Please note that parts of the content may be generated using generative AI, which is experimental. So, what are the objective of today's session? So, we will understand the population explosion, means why the population expansion is happening. So, there is a rapid increase in the population size. This is known as population explosion. So, we will understand the reasons for the population explosion, its causes, and effects on the socio-economic development. We will know different birth control measures. So in this, we'll talk about the contraceptive methods. So these contraceptive methods have been divided into natural, artificial, and surgical. So we'll talk about the birth control methods and their effectiveness. We'll also talk about the population control measures and the link of the population control measures to the sustainability. How can we obtain a sustainable, you can say, population? So we'll be talking about the population explosion and birth control. This is from the NCERT section 3.2. Then we will summarize this entire lecture. We'll talk about some NCERT based questions. So we'll talk about some questions which are related to this topic. Then I will give you some keynotes. And in the end, we'll be talking about some questions. So let's start with today's lecture. We'll talk about the global population explosion. The population is expanding at a very high rate globally. Now, all-round development in various fields has led to improved quality of life. So now, there is a lot of development going on, new research is being on, the medical facility is better, the infrastructure is better, the healthcare is better now. So our quality of life has improved. So because of this, there is less death. And this is one of the major cause of population explosion also. Now there is better healthcare facilities, living conditions are better. And this has led to rapid population growth. Now let's talk about world population growth statistics. In 1900, the world population was 2 billion. In 2000, it was 6 billion. In 2011, it was 7.2 billion. And then in 2025, it is estimated to be 8.2 billion. So this is the world population. So you can see the population is expanding at a very high rate. Now, India is also following a similar population growth trend. In India also, there is a rapid growth in the population size. Means population explosion is happening. Let's talk about India's population growth now. So it was 350 million at the time of independence, 1947. Then it was nearly 1 billion by 2000. Then it exceeded 1.2 billion by May of 2011. And India's population, as for May 2025, it is 1.46 billion. So again, there is a rapid increase in the population. Okay, now what are the reasons for this population increase? First of all, there is a rapid decline in the death rate. So less people are dying. Because we have better living conditions, we have better healthcare facilities, medical facilities are better. The food and the water, it is less contaminated now. So this has led to decline in the death rate. Then there is a decrease in the maternal mortality rate. also known as MMR. What is maternal mortality rate? Means maternal is related to the mother. So mother death rate has decreased. How can you define maternal mortality rate? Number of maternal death means number of deaths of the mother per 100,000 live births during the pregnancy. This is maternal mortality rate. Mortality rate means death rate. So number of maternal death per 100,000 or 1 lakh live births during the pregnancy. This is maternal mortality rate. Now there is a decrease in infant mortality rate also. Infant means the newborn. How can you define infant mortality rate, known as the IMR? Number of infant deaths per 1000 live birth. Okay, before reaching the age 1. So infants are those which are below 1 year of age. They are considering the you can say the child below 1 year of age as infant. So number of infant deaths per 1000 live births before they achieve the age of 1. This is infant mortality rate. So there is a decrease in the death rate, both maternal mortality, maternal death rate and the infant death rate. Now there is increase in the reproductive age population also. So what does this mean? Means there is an increase in the number of individuals or couples who are in the reproductive age. In the reproductive age means they have attained puberty, their reproductive organs are active and they can give, you can say, birth to, females can give birth to, or the couples can have children. So they can contribute to the population now because they are reproductively mature, they are reproductively active. So if there is an increase in the reproductive age population, then more offerings will be produced, more children will be produced. So this can also lead to increase in the population size. If a population of a country, say, it has less number of people in the reproductive age, so its population will decline. Now, what are the population control measures? First of all, a lot of programs have been initiated, like family planning, and another program is reproductive child health program. This program has been implemented. Now, this program achieved only marginal success. Although this program was initiated, this was implemented, but this program achieved only marginal success. The population growth rate reduced only slightly. Okay, now let's talk about population growth and resource concerns. The population growth rate in 2011, it was 2%. Okay, what do you mean by 2%? Means for every 1,000 people, 20 new people are added per year. Okay, so this means 2% growth rate. So this 2% growth rate is significant. It is high. Clear? What do you mean by 2%? For every 1,000 people, 20 new people are being added per year. So you can calculate, if there are 100,000 people, then how many people will be added per year? If there is 1 million people, then how many people are added per year? So this is 2% growth rate. If this growth rate increases 3%, then it will be for every 1,000 people, 30 new people are being added. The population growth rate in 2021 was 2%. And this is a matter of concern because the number of people are increasing, but the resources are always limited. Okay. So this small 2% annual increase, this is annual increase because people are being added per year. So this 2% annual increase compounds to significant growth over time. Now, there is a risk of basic resource scarcity. So, the population is increasing, number of people are being added in the population, resources are always limited, so there will be resource scarcity. Okay. What are the basic resources? Food, shelter, and clothing. So despite having progress, despite having development, what is happening due to this overall development? The population is increasing, but the resources are still limited. So the individuals now, the people now, they don't have even access to the basic requirements, which are food, shelter, and clothing. Now, government intervention is needed to control the population growth now. The government has started some of the programs like RCH, Reproductive Child Healthcare Program, but they were not that successful. The government have to implement new programs to control the population growth. Another such method is family planning. So, under this family planning, what comes? So, promoting the use of contraceptive methods to encourage smaller families. So, there was a slogan, Hum Do, Hamare Do. Okay. So, the couples should go for smaller families. And they should adopt the family planning. They should keep the space also between the children. A small family is a happy family. And how can you encourage smaller families? By use of the contraceptive methods. Okay, Hum Do Hamare Do, this campaign promotes two-child norm, means a couple should have not more than 2 children. Now, urban working couples increasingly adopt one-child norm. Now, the couples, they both of them are working. They're working in the urban areas and they are not able to take care of their children as well. So they are adopting one-child norm there now. Now, what is happening now? Legal minimum marriage age has been increased now. For the female, it is 18 years. For male, it is 21 years. So this initiative is also taken by the government, increasing the marriageable age of males to 21 and that of the females to 18 years. So this will also, you can say, help decrease the population size, increasing the marriageable age. After marriage, the couples, they undergo the sexual activity, they produce children. If you increase the marriageable age, then obviously there'll be a slight decrease in the population size. Then incentives are provided to the couples with smaller families. So what is government doing? Government is providing incentives in the form of, you can say, money. So this is kind of monetary help. So they are giving some incentives to the couples who are going for smaller families. So here you can see this is a family planning slogan, Hum Do Hamare Do. Small family is a happy family. So this is a two-child norm. Now let's talk about the contraceptive methods now. So by using these contraceptive methods or birth control methods, family planning can be done and there can be a reduction in the population size as well. Now, what are the characteristics of ideal contraceptive? It should be user friendly. The person can use it by itself. It doesn't need anyone other's help. Okay, so it should be user friendly, easy to use. It should be easily available also. Okay, it should be easily available. It should be effective in controlling or preventing the pregnancy. So it should be quite effective. It should be reversible. What do you mean by reversible? So reversible means whenever you stop using the contraceptive, then again the female can conceive. This is known as reversible. Okay. So as long as the female or the male is using the contraceptive, so there will be no pregnancy in the females. The female cannot conceive. But as long as you, but whenever you stop using these contraceptive, then again the female can conceive. It should have minimal side effects because you are using this contraceptive. Okay. So some of the contraceptives are placed inside your body. Some of the contraceptive pills are hormone pills. So they should have minimum side effects. There should be no interference with the sexual activity as well or sexual desire of the person. Now, what are the main categories of the contraceptives? First are the natural and the also known as the traditional methods. Second one are the barrier methods. Then you have intrauterine devices known as IUDs. Then there are oral contraceptives or known as oral pills. Then injectables, implants, and then there are surgical methods. So we'll talk about these categories of contraceptives today. First are the natural methods. So these natural methods prevents meeting sperm and the egg. It prevents meeting the male gamete and the female gamete. Now, one such natural method is periodic abstinence. So this involves avoiding the intercourse, sexual intercourse or coitus from day 10 to day 17 of the menstrual cycle. Okay, this is known as periodic abstinence. So what happens? Menstrual cycle in human females, it is of around 28 days. And at the mid of the menstrual cycle means at around 14th day, the egg is released. So the couple should avoid the sexual intercourse from day 10 to 17, where at this time, day 10 to 17, there are high chances of the egg to release. And if the egg is released and if the sperm is also present, then fertilization can take place. So the couple should avoid the intercourse from day 10 to day 17 of the menstrual cycle. So day 10 to 17, they are known as the fertile period. Why it is known as fertile period? Due to high chance of the fertilization. So there are chances that from day to 17, egg will be present there in the fallopian tube and it can be fertilized by the sperm. So avoiding intercourse during this fertile period can prevent pregnancy. So this is a kind of a natural method. Now next one is the withdrawal, also known as the coitus interruptus. So what happens here? The male partner withdraws the penis before the ejaculation. So the ejaculate, known as the semen, it consists of the sperm. So the male partner will withdraw the penis before the ejaculation. So there is no insemination process. The semen is not transferred into the female genital tract. So obviously it prevents insemination. Now third one is lactational amenorrhea. Now let's understand what is lactational amenorrhea. So there is no menstruation during the intense lactation period. That's why it is known as lactational amenorrhea. There is absence of menstruation during the lactation period. Means there is absence of menstruation, okay, when the mother is producing the milk. So no menstruation during the intense lactation period when the mother is producing the milk, when the mother is feeding the newborn. There is no menstrual cycle means there will be no egg will be released. There is no menstrual cycle, so no egg is being released. If there is no egg, so there can be no fertilization. So no ovulation occurs after the childbirth. No egg is released after the childbirth. There is no menstrual cycle. Okay. But this also have a, you can say, limitation, lactational amenorrhea. Clear? So what happens here in this lactational amenorrhea? The couples can prevent the pregnancy up to 6 months only. Okay. So regular breastfeeding reduces the chances of pregnancy. So whenever the mother is breastfeeding the newborn, then it reduces the chance of pregnancy. How? Because there will be no menstrual cycle if the mother is regularly feeding the baby. As long as the milk is being produced, there will be reduced chances of the pregnancy because there will be no ovulation. But this is effective up to a maximum period of 6 months following the parturition. Parturition means childbirth. Okay, so there is a limitation to the lactational amenorrhea. Then there are almost no side effects of the natural methods, as no medicines are being used here. But there is a drawback also, chances of failure are very high. So, okay, the chances of failure are high because why? Okay, if you talk about this coitus interruptus, if the male is not able to withdraw the penis before ejaculation, then fertilization can occur. Then again, here also in lactation amenorrhea, it is effective only to a maximum period of 6 months only. Clear? So these are the chances of failure are very high in the natural methods. Next one is a barrier method. So this barrier method prevents physical contact between the sperm and the egg. So within this barrier method comes the condoms. Condoms are available for both male and the females. Let's talk about the condoms now. So they are made up of thin rubber or latex. Okay, I'll show you the figure of condoms and the condoms. Now, the male condom is used to cover the penis, and the female condom covers the vagina or the cervix. These condoms, they're used before the intercourse or before indulging into the sexual activity. This condom prevents the sperm from entering female reproductive tract. So both male and the female condoms prevent the semen, which consists of the sperms, from entering into the female reproductive tract. So that's why it is saying prevents the physical contact between the sperm and the egg. So these are the condoms here in figure 3.1a. You can see these are the condom for the male. These condoms, they cover the penis in the males, and these are the condoms of the females, and this covers the cervix or the vagina. So these barrier method, they can also prevent conception. Nirod is a popular male condom brand. Then increased use due to protection from STI and the AIDS. So another use of the barrier methods of the condom is their use can protect the individual or the couples from spreading from these sexually transmitted infections also, such as AIDS. Because these sexually transmitted diseases, they can spread through the secretions, from the vaginal secretions also, or through the semen also. So these STDs, they are spread during the sexual intercourse. Okay. So whenever the couples, they are wearing the condoms, so what happens? The semen is not able to transfer into the female genital tract, and the vaginal secretions also, they cannot also, you can say, as the penis is covered by the condom, so these vaginal secretions also cannot transfer the pathogen for the sexually transmitted diseases. So this condom also protect from the sexually transmitted infection. They prevent the spread of these STDs. Now, male and the female condoms, they both are disposable. They are self-insertable, so they are user-friendly, and they provide privacy also, because you don't need another person here. You can use this condom by yourself. So it is user-friendly, it is effective also, it is easily available. They are disposable. You can dispose them off after use. Now, diaphragm, cervical caps, and vaults are the rubber barriers. They're made up of rubbers. Okay. And these are female condoms. They are inserted into the female reproductive tract. Now, these female condoms, they cover the cervix or the vagina during the intercourse. They block sperm entry through the cervix. So they don't allow the semen to enter into the female genital tract. So they block the sperm entry through the cervix. They can be reused. These diaphragm, cervical caps, and what, they can be reused. And these condoms can be used along with the spermicidal creams, jellies, or foams. What are these spermicidal creams? Spermicidal creams, they kill the sperms. These can be used along with spermicidal cream, jellies, and foams to increase the efficiency of these contraceptive methods. Then spermicide increase contraceptive efficiency. Okay, these spermicide increase the efficiency of these contraceptive methods. Next are intrauterine devices known as IUDs. So what are IUDs? They are small devices inserted into the uterus through the vagina by medical professionals. So these are done by the medical professionals. So these devices, they are inserted into the uterus through the vagina. They are highly effective contraceptive methods. What are the type of IUDs? First is non-medicated IUDs. Example is Lipus loop. So these non-medicated IUDs, they don't consist of any medicines. That's why it is non-medicated IUDs. Example is Lipus loop. Lipus loop is made up of plastic. Then there are copper releasing IUDs such as copper T, copper 7, multiload 375. Then there are hormone releasing IUDs which release the hormones. For example, progesterone and LNG20. So here you can see in this figure, this is an image showing you copper T. Okay. So this is T-shaped and this is inserted into the uterus through the vagina. Let's talk about non-medicated IUDs. So they are known as non-medicated IUDs because they do not release any hormones or chemicals. They doesn't consist of any medicines. So how do they work, non-medicated IUDs? How do they prevent the conception? How they prevent the pregnancy? So they create mild inflammation in the uterus. Okay. They scar the uterine lining to prevent the implantation. So first of all, they will cause the inflammation of the uterus, so there is no implantation. And they will scar the uterine lining also again to prevent the implantation. In implantation, what happens? Blastocyst attaches to the endometrium of the uterus. So they prevent implantation by scarring the uterine lining and by causing mild inflammation in the uterus. IUDs, they increase the phagocytosis of the sperm as well. Okay. So the sperm, it will not survive after phagocytosis. So like amoeba can do phagocytosis. These IUDs, they increase the phagocytosis of the sperms. So some of the cells, they can do phagocytosis. Okay. Clear? So phagocytosis, some of the cells, they are involved in the phagocytosis of the sperms. Now copper IUDs. So as the name suggests, they release copper ions, and these copper ions, they reduce the sperm motility. So if the sperm motility is reduced, then they won't be able to reach the egg. And these copper ions, they also reduce the sperm fertilization capacity as well. Yeah, so these were non-medicated IODs and copper IODs. Then there are hormone releasing IODs as well. Okay, so they are very popular contraceptive methods in India. And how do they work? They prevent the implantation in the uterus. They won't allow the blastocyst to get attached to the endometrium. Now, they make the cervix hostile to the sperms. So, what do you mean they make cervix hostile to the sperms? So, they cause the inflammation of the cervix. So, when we have discussed the female reproductive system, the sperms they enter or they are released into the vagina. Then from the vagina, they enter into the cervix and then to the uterus, and then finally from the uterus to the fallopian tube. So, they causes the inflammation of the cervix. So because of the inflammation of the cervix, the sperm cannot, you can say, cross the cervix. It is blocked. The sperm is blocked because of the inflammation of the cervix. So this means the cervix become hostile to the sperm. They are suitable for delaying pregnancies and help keep space between the childrens. So how do these hormone releasing IODs work? They make the cervix hostile. They cause the inflammation of the cervix. Then they prevent implantation in the uterus. Implantation occurs in the endometrium. And for the implantation to occur, the endometrium should be thick. So, if the endometrium is not thick, there will be no implantation. So, they prevent implantation, make cervix hostile to the sperms. Now, let's talk about these oral pills. So, these oral pills, they contain hormones. They are hormonal pills. They contain progestogens alone or progestogen estrogen combination. Clear? So, there can be a combination of the hormones, or progesterone can be used alone. So they are taken orally daily for 21 days. So these oral pills, they have to be taken daily for 21 days. Okay, so this starts within the first 5 days of the menstrual cycle. Okay. So within the first 5 days of the menstrual cycle, these oral pills should be taken. And they are taken daily for 21 days then. Okay, but you have to start taking these oral pills within 5 days of the menstrual cycle. Then a 7-day gap between the cycles. Clear? So there should be a 7-day gap then. So for 21 days, you have to take the oral pills regularly, and then there is a 7-day gap. So total is 28 days. And menstrual cycle is for 28 days. Okay, and you have to start taking these oral pills within first 5 days of the menstrual cycle. And then continue it for 21 days. Then a gap of 7 days is given. So total is 21 days. 21 plus 7 is 28 days. Out of these 28 days, you are taking this oral pills regularly for 21 days. And when you have to take? Within 5 days of menstrual cycle. And this pattern repeats until the conception is desired. Now, these pills, how do they work? They prevent ovulation. They prevent the egg release. Because the menstrual cycle, this is controlled by the hormones. Okay, so these pills, they prevent the ovulation. They prevent the implantation. And they modify the cervical mucus. What do you mean by modify cervical mucus? They cause the inflammation of the cervix. And they make the cervix hostile for the sperms. So this is how this oral pill works, which consists of the hormones. So you should remember this, how the hormonal oral pills involved, how these pills work. So they have high effectiveness and fewer side effects, which make them well accepted. Saheli is a non-steroidal and oral contraceptive. So Saheli, this has been devised by CDRI Lucknow. This is non-steroidal, means it doesn't consist of steroid, and this is non-hormonal also. Okay, this is once in a week pill, and it has minimum side effects because it is non-steroidal and non-hormonal. Week-long effectiveness means it should be taken only once a week. Then next is implants. So progestogens can be administered as injections or implants alone or along with the another hormone, estrogen. So this is the image showing you the implants. So these implants are placed under the arm of the female, and these implants they release hormones such as progestogens or progesterone and estrogen combination. These injections also, hormones can be injected also in the body. Mode of action is similar to the oral contraceptive pills because both consist of hormones. Injections, implants, and these pills, they all consist of hormones. So how they will prevent the pregnancy? By preventing the ovulation, by preventing implantation and making the cervix hostile. So they have longer effective periods compared to pills. So implants have longer effective periods because they are inserted just beneath the skin and they keep on releasing hormones. Okay, so their effective period is more as compared to the pills. Now, emergency contraception is available through progestogens, progesterone, estrogen combination, and IUDs. So in the case of emergency, or in the case of, you can say, rape cases or sexual abuse, these contraceptive methods should be used within 72 hours. Okay, if they are used within the 72 hours, then only they can be effective. These IUDs, these oral pills, these oral pills, these are all emergency contraception methods. They can be used in the case of sexual abuse or rapes, or to prevent the pregnancy in case of contraceptive failure. That's why the name emergency contraception. So in this, hormones are used as well as IUDs can also be used. Okay, if the question come in exam, what are the emergency contraceptive methods? You can write this: the hormone containing pills and the IUDs. These emergency contraceptives are effective used within 72 hours of the intercourse. So you should remember this. They are only effective when you use these methods within 72 hours of the intercourse. They used to prevent pregnancy in the case of rape and unprotected intercourse. Next one is the surgical methods. So surgical methods are also known as sterilization. They are permanent contraceptive methods. Okay, they are permanent, means they are non-reversible. The rest we have studied, they were reversible, but these are not reversible. They are permanent contraceptive methods. These techniques have poor reversibility, means they are permanent, but they have high effectiveness. They are used as a terminal method to prevent future pregnancy. Terminal method means they are a kind of permanent method to prevent future pregnancies, and they work by blocking the transport of the sperms, transport of the gametes. Okay, transport of the sperms and the ovum. There are two types of surgical methods: vasectomy for males and tubectomy for the females. Let's talk about the vasectomy now. So this is done in males, and what is done? A small incision is made in the scrotum. Then in the scrotum, testes are present. Now part of the vas deferens is removed or tied. That's why it is known as the vasectomy. Okay. So part of the vas deferens is being removed or it is being tied. So it will block the transport of the sperms because vas deferens is an accessory duct. It is involved in the transport of the sperm. So transport of the sperm is blocked here. It is a male sterilization procedure. Then let's talk about the tubectomy. So a small incision is abdomen is made, or a small incision is made through the vagina. Here the part of the fallopian tube is being removed or tied. So that's why it is known as tubectomy. And the fallopian tube also carries the egg. If the fallopian tube is removed or it is tied, again there will be no transport of the egg. It is the female sterilization procedure. And here you can see this is the image showing you vasectomy and tubectomy. In vasectomy, vas deferens is tied and cut, and in tubectomy, the fallopian tubes are tied and cut. So this helps in the blocking of the transport of the gametes. Now, what are the characteristics of the contraceptive devices? Okay, contraceptive characteristics. So selection of the contraceptive methods require consultation with the medical professional. So the medical professional can suggest to the couples that which contraceptive method they should go for. So there are many categories of these contraceptive methods: barrier methods, IUDs, hormonal pills, injection and implants. So which method will be effective for the couples? Okay. Information regarding this can be given by the medical professionals. Now, contraceptives are not essential for regular reproductive health maintenance. So these contraceptives are only used to prevent the unwanted pregnancies, but they are not the part of regular reproductive health maintenance. Contraceptives, they work against the natural reproductive process of conception and pregnancy. Means these contraceptive methods or the birth control methods, they prevent the conception or the pregnancies. They prevent the natural conception and the pregnancies. Then contraceptive methods are used for preventing, delaying, or spacing pregnancy due to personal reasons as well. So there can be some personal reasons also, like the couple, they want to go for family planning, or there is some monetary issues. They want to keep space between the children's. Okay, so these contraceptive methods are used for preventing, delaying, or spacing pregnancies due to personal reasons. These methods help control population growth effectively. So obviously, contraceptive methods, they can be used for the birth control. Possible side effects include nausea. So they'll be vomiting like feeling, abdominal pain, breakthrough, bleeding means excessive bleeding, irregular menstrual bleeding, potential risk of breast cancer. So these, you are injecting something in your body like IUDs. Okay, the female is taking the hormonal pills. Okay, implants, injection, these consist of the hormones. So hormones have a lot of effects on the body. So these hormones, if their level increase in the body, okay, or if their level alter in the body, they can cause these possible side effects. Even IUDs can cause a lot of side effects. Okay. Then let's summarize this entire lecture now. So there are some populations and policy regarding this population increase. So population grew due to lower death rates and higher survival rate. Now there are lower death rates because the life quality has increased, and there are higher survival rates now. So because of this, the population is expanding. Now government is promoting smaller families by giving them incentives. Okay. Now there are contraceptive methods. Let's talk about contraceptive methods. What are the category of contraceptive methods? First are the natural methods, which includes periodic abstinence, withdrawal, also known as coitus interruptus, and lactational amenorrhea. Then these contraceptive methods, they have some side effects. Okay, they don't have any side effect. Natural method, they have no side effects. Okay, but they have high failure rates. Then barrier methods under this are included the condom, diaphragm, and they prevent sperm and egg meeting. Okay, the condoms are also used, or they can also, you can say, prevent the spread of the sexually transmitted infections such as AIDS. IUDs, they are inserted in the uterus. There are three types of IUDs: non-medicated IUDs, copper IUDs, and hormonal IUDs. They create hostile environment for the sperms. They're ideal for pregnancy spacing. So they can be used for family planning as well. Next are hormonal methods. Under this are hormone-based prevention of the pregnancy. Oral pills can be taken daily. Hence, oral pill like Saheli, it is taken once in a week. These you can say hormonal pills, they prevent ovulation, they prevent implantation, they make the cervix hostile for the sperms. Okay, even the hormonal IUDs, they also work in a similar way like oral pills. Then there are implants and injectables. These also release hormones and they provide long-term protection as compared to the oral pills. Then there are medical and surgical methods under which are included vasectomy and tubectomy. So they are permanent methods and they block the gamete transfer, and obviously they require medical supervision. There is a question now, why are condoms a highly recommended contraceptive barrier methods? So condoms are highly recommended contraceptive barrier method because they prevent pregnancy. They protect against sexually transmitted infections like HIV. They're easy to use. They're readily available and they have no hormonal side effects. So condoms, it doesn't consist of any hormones. So they have no side effects. The next question, which contraceptive method is permanent and needs medical supervision? So sterilization is the permanent contraceptive method. Sterilization means the surgical method. There are two types, vasectomy for males and tubectomy for females. These require surgical procedures and must be done under the medical supervision. In vasectomy, the part of the vas deferens is cut and tied. In tubectomy, part of the fallopian tube is cut and tied. This is irreversible or permanent solution. They prevent the sperm and the egg transport. So they prevent the transport of the gametes because fallopian tube and vas deferens, they are both accessory ducts. They are involved in the transport of the gametes. It is a one-time procedure and it also have no hormonal side effects. Let's talk about some keynotes. First of all, what are the reasons of the population growth? Decreased death rate, lower maternal and infant mortality rate, more people in reproductive age. What are the government measures taken? RCH program implementation, Hum Do Hamare Do campaign, legal marriage age has been raised. For female, it is 18 and male, it is 21 years. Incentives for small families is given. Contraceptive method categories, we have already discussed. They are natural methods known as traditional methods, in which withdrawal methods, abstinence and lactation, amenorrhea comes under natural method. Barrier methods are male condom, female condom, diaphragm and cervical gaps. IUDs, there are three types, non-hormonal IUDs, copper T and hormonal IUDs. Then there are oral contraceptives, in which combined pills are also available, which consist of estrogen and progesterone, and mini pills are also available, which consist of only one hormone, progesterone. Implants, they are inserted under the skin. They also release hormones slowly. Then there are surgical methods, in which comes under surgical methods comes tubectomy and vasectomy, which are permanent methods. What is ideal contraceptive characteristics? So they should be user friendly, easily available, effective, reversible, and they should have minimum side effects. So these are some interesting questions for you. Okay, in what ways does rapid population growth impact environmental sustainability and resource distribution globally? So you should think over these questions. So this will help you develop your critical thinking. Okay, next one. Despite the availability of various contraceptive methods, why do some societies still resist family planning programs? And the third one, what role does education about contraceptives play in monitoring reproductive health and managing the population growth? So please think over these questions. These are very interesting questions. Okay, this will enhance your critical thinking abilities. Now, this is the end of this session. Okay, we have completed the theory. Now we'll discuss some DPP related to this topic. Let's start with the first DPP now, Which contraceptive method works by increasing phagocytosis of the sperms and releasing copper ions to suppress the sperm motility? Okay, so you have to name the contraceptive methods which increases the phagocytosis of the sperms and they release copper ions also to suppress the motility of the sperm and to suppress the fertilization capacity of the sperm. So options are oral pills, condoms, intrauterine devices, and vasectomy. So what will be the correct answer here? The correct answer here will be what? Correct answer here is option number C, intrauterine devices. So intrauterine devices are of three types: non-medicated, copper IUDs, and there is hormonal IUDs. So copper IUDs release copper ions, and these IUDs also enhance the phagocytosis of the sperms. Oral pills just consist of the hormones. They prevent the implantation, ovulation, and make the cervix hostile. Condom, they are the barrier methods, and vasectomy, this is the surgical method done in the males. Next one, what is the primary mechanism of action of oral contraceptive pills? So these oral contraceptive pills consist of hormones. What are the options? Blocking ovulation and implantation. Second, creating a physical barrier between sperm and egg. Option number C is increasing sperm phagocytosis, and D is inducing the lactational amenorrhea. What will be the correct answer here? The correct answer here will be option number A, blocking ovulation and implantation. So wherever hormones are involved, remember this, these hormones will prevent ovulation and they will prevent implantation also. Clear? Now, which method is considered a terminal contraceptive approach? Terminal contraceptive approach means permanent contraceptive approach. This is the permanent method. What are the options? Lactational amenorrhea, intrauterine devices, tubectomy, and condoms. So answer should be option number C here, tubectomy. Tubectomy is done in the females, where the part of the fallopian tube is cut and it is tied. It will stop the gamete transfer. It will prevent the gamete transfer. Lactational amenorrhea, this is a natural method. Intrauterine devices, we have already discussed, and condom, they are the barrier methods. So these terminal contraceptive approaches means permanent contraceptive methods, and they are irreversible. Next one, the effectiveness of lactational amenorrhea is a contraceptive method is limited to a maximum period of. So lactation amenorrhea is what? There is absence of menstrual cycle, there is absence of menstruation, no egg is released during the lactation, during the release of the milk, during the lactation period. During intense lactation, there is no menstrual cycle. This is lactational amenorrhea. So this is effective till what period? Or effectiveness of this method is limited to what period? Options are 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and 18 months. Answer will be option number B here. It will be 6 months. Now, next question. Which contraceptive method also provides protection against sexually transmitted diseases or infections? Options are copper T, oral pills, condoms, and tubectomy. So here the correct answer will be option number C, condoms. So condoms, they can also help to prevent the spread of sexually transmitted infections, because these infections, they are spread through the secretions, the semen and the vaginal secretions. Okay, so condoms, they prevent the semen to enter into the female genital tract. Okay, so answer will be option number C, condoms. So let's submit the answer now. Okay, so all our answers are correct. This was the end of the session. I hope the session was quite knowledgeable for you. We'll meet you in the next session. Thank you very much for listening.